Hello, beautiful Scorpio friends, and welcome to our November 2021 reading in the heart of Scorpio season. And there is so much energy moving through with you. This is a really great time to just come home to yourself, come home to your center. And I know we talked about that a lot last month with the beginning of Scorpio season, that sense of coming home to self. That sense of allowing ourselves to come home, right? And that theme continues in the Scorpio season. And there's some really interesting things beginning to bubble and open in November that are giving us little clues about some of the energies for 2022, which is kind of wild. But first, let's just focus on happy Scorpio season. I am wishing all of you so much joy and support and connectedness and feeling like your energy is surrounded by those that appreciate it and that you're feeling like you're getting to use it in and experience it and explore it in ways that feel really good to you. We have the sun moving through your sign. We have a new moon in Scorpio on the 4th. Mars, your original ruler, is moving through your sign the whole of November. We also have Mercury entering your sign on the 5th and moving through for a good chunk of the month. So there's a lot of supportive energy here, kind of emphasizing Scorpio's energy and the power that Scorpio has and what it brings to the surface for all of us. So during the Scorpio season, this is a wonderful time to get really honest with what's working for you. What do you really want to carry with you? And I would even say there is a message here of simplification in general this Scorpio season, where it's not about having it all, doing it all, being it all, right? It's about letting yourself be who you are and letting that simplicity be empowering, right? Rather than cluttering up our vision boards and our minds and our energy with tons of branches. I'm not saying it's wrong to be dreamy and have a ton of ideas. I think that's really cool. But it's important that we make a distinction between what we truly want, what truly expresses our soul, and what we've kind of been trained into believing we want, right? And this is very subtle. I know I have caught myself various times in my life thinking in terms of like, oh, I want whatever. I don't even know. I want to look a certain way or act a certain way. That's not really what I wanted, right? So this is a really great Scorpio season for that. Now let's get into what I was talking about with that 2022 energy, and I will start shuffling here. We also have near the end of Scorpio season on the 19th, we have a full moon and a partial lunar eclipse in Taurus, your opposing sign. And this is going to be a wonderful time to review relationships, kind of notice how you've changed when it comes to relating, connecting, and also just how you've changed as an individual, how you've changed, how you've found balance, peace, harmony, inspiration, what have you. So it's a really powerful full moon and partial lunar eclipse. Here's the other part of it. We are a couple of months away, 2.5 months away when November begins, from the south node of the moon entering your sign and the north node of the moon entering Taurus. And that is why we're starting to get these glimmers of eclipses in Taurus and then in Scorpio coming up soon. We're going to be doing south node and Scorpio work starting the beginning of 2022 and going through for 1.5 years. And I'm actually somebody with a south node in Scorpio. So I get this energy quite a bit. I understand it. So it's something that we're going to be working with. Now, south node in your sign, we are going to get more in detail into this as 2022 begins because, there's no point jumping the gun. We're not quite there yet. South node is still in Sagittarius, very much so. But this is what I will say, and this is where this eclipse is kind of important, and I think even this Scorpio season is important. The question that comes up with the South Node in Scorpio is, what does life look like without our internal haunted house, right? And we all have them, no matter how much, some of us enjoy the deep dive and the exploration of our shadows and our darkness and all those different aspects of ourselves. I'm with you, believe me. And some people are a little more uncomfortable with it, would rather not, but they still have their version of the haunted house, right? So the collective question is going to be, what does life look like without the haunted house? What does life look like when we are more into ease and flow? And I know that sounds so repetitive. We've all been saying this for so long, but it is genuinely one of those basic things that we come back to time and again. I know I go through my own little cycle all the time where I'll go back to the haunted house for a while, hang out there, and then I'll be like, is this working for me? And then I'll practice into some of the light and the ease and remember again. So we are going to start to be working with that energy very soon, and this full moon partial lunar eclipse is going to be doing some of that work. Now, the other part of this month is that the Sun and Mercury are going to then move into Sagittarius last week of the month and begin some exploration of your self-value. Page of Swords. Finally, a card wanted to come out. And this is important too, allowing yourself that the self-love, self-affirmation, soothing to come through. Our good old friend, the Five of Swords. I always have to double check this one because it's special. All right, we've got some communication messages coming up in the cards today. But regardless, I feel like this month is just a really wonderful month to two cards wanted to come out. Ace of Swords and Ten of Pentacles. To come home to yourself, listen to your inner guidance system, and simplify. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to be it all. You don't have to control it all. You don't have to go to your haunted house to find the answers. What does deep diving look when we're deep diving to the benevolent void, right? To the benevolent beautiful expansiveness of the world. And that's where you're really going to be getting led. So let's talk about this because there's kind of two tones going on here in this reading today with the cards. On the one hand, we have Page of Swords and Five of Swords. And these to me are, this is about communication. This is about how we're communicating our needs, our wants, our desires, our boundaries, our curiosities, where we are holding ourselves back and where we are maybe overstepping. Page of Swords, I think, is really beautiful, liberating energy, right? Because he's young, he's a news bringer, he's just getting in there and trying stuff out and seeing what happens. There's a naivete about the Page of Swords. That's the kind of thing when, 3-year-olds will just say whatever comes into their mind, whether somebody considers it offensive or not. They're not even concerned. They're just going to say what they say, right? There's something beautiful and pure about that energy. And maybe there are some things that you are ready to get off your chest and ready to express to the world, whether that's through art and creativity or relationships, or there's so many ways that Page of Swords can come out. One thing to keep in mind with Page of Swords, though, is that we can be honest and direct and clear without cutting others unnecessarily, right? And so Page of Swords is going to be like, okay, whatever you have to express about where you need things or where you're having desires or where you're wanting things to be different, make sure you're expressing from there and not so much how you want others to change. Now, we do have the Five of Swords as well. And this card to me brings up a few different themes. One, if you are feeling like you can't trust the people around you and you are feeling a little bit scattered, because as you can see, we have this guy who's can't really tell what he's doing. Is he stealing the swords? Is he betraying people? Is he helping? You can't really tell his motivations, and that's kind of the theme of this card. If you're feeling like you can't trust people around you, a lot of times that has to do with self-trust as well, and where we don't have boundaries or communication that we need to be having, and that's really a question. So if you're feeling like you have a question for somebody and you don't know what their motivations are, what they're doing. It's important to ask those questions and get them out in the open. So we don't want anything festering under the surface and being held onto unnecessarily. This is a month of expression, actually, and expressive truth. And that doesn't mean it's about being combative or tearing people down, right? Expressive truth to me is very soft. It's very calm, but it's also very clear. And so you're being asked to get honest. Just not only with yourself, but I think there may be others around you who you want to just relax more and just be yourself more and not feel like you have to constantly guard yourself or hide yourself or edit yourself down to be okay within certain contexts. Now, here's the other side of this reading, because it's really interesting. We have this kind of work of like honest communication going on. And we also have the spark of some new adventures ahead. Ace of Wands. Hello. This is such a fun, creative energy that has to do with expansion, playfulness, curiosity, new doors being opened, a new spark being lit. And I'm so excited to see this because we just came through a really intense Libra season that involved like the Mercury retrograde and a lot of review. And now we have this Ace of Wands. We have this open door. And Scorpio season in so many ways is an open door energy. Even though it's a deep diving energy this year, the way that Scorpio is placed, it's very much an open door and invitation to the future and to the ways of the future. And for you all, there is a new creative spark. And what I notice here is that in letting yourself be yourself, letting yourself set your healthy boundaries, say what you need, allow yourself to rest, allow yourself to say, hey, I need this to shift, or I need to know the answer to this question. You unleash a lot of energy. And here's the thing, the Ace of Wands is tied to this Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles is the long range vision, right? This is something that builds over the course of many, many years or months. It's something that takes time, brick by brick is built, cell by cell is built in this beautiful, bigger picture energy. But the Ace of Wands is the beginning spark of a longer legacy. And I love seeing that. And it's interesting. I know South Node of the Moon might sound a little intimidating because it is about letting go of past karmic cycles, and it is about letting go of old habits, old routines, things that aren't serving us anymore. But I'd also say that sometimes the work of having the South Node in your sign is that you let go of ways you've been holding on to, the way that you've contained yourself, even just in the way that you might have labeled yourself as like Scorpio, or labeled your life or your energy as scorpionic. This coming time, you can release some of that and just be the soul that you are, right? And in just being the soul that you are, whatever that looks like, we're all so different, you know, unleashes and opens up and unlocks a whole other level of life. And in that way, I think this is a really exciting time coming up for Scorpios, and one that I think will be really, really interesting to watch for the collective as well. But there is some kind of unleashing going on here this month. When I look at these reading with these cards, I just notice how maybe you've been like suppressing a need or a desire or a curiosity, right? And like, it's been a little scary to be vulnerable and ask for that thing or have that conversation, or use a new language. That's constantly my challenge these days, is trying to express myself in a new language. But whatever it is that's been feeling trapped and tight, there's a sense of it getting unleashed this month and released and opened. And that is going to move so much new energy through you. And it's going to be a very transformational time coming up, and in the best way. I just feel like we're going to get to see a whole other side of Scorpios and a whole other side of that energy and how it moves through the world and how we can work with it. That's very different than we've traditionally been taught to look at Scorpionic energy and what it's supposed to mean. And so this month is going to be really interesting and starting to connect with that a little bit. I have a few affirmations I just want to close out our reading with today to take with you for this beautiful Scorpio season and November. So here we go. I am safe when I trust more. I create more than I consume. I rest as much as I need whenever I need to. There is enough time and space in the world to be myself. I'm going to repeat that last one. There is enough time and space in the world to be myself. I think that's so important, Scorps. There's a lot of pressures on you all to be a certain way, to share a certain way. And I want all that pressure to be taken off your shoulders so that you can relax into yourselves and be who and what you want to be now, from this now moment forward. Not based on your past, not based on all those old stories, not based on any of that stuff. Just the freedom and the space to just relax into yourself. To me, that is such a beautiful thing. And I'm so excited to see what this Scorpio season brings you. So happy birthday. Have a beautiful Scorpio season. I'm going to be going over all these transits, including an upcoming Venus retrograde. We are so close to a Venus retrograde in December, as well as the nodal changes coming up in a couple of months and eclipse season starting. So if you're looking for support, come join me on Patreon. We have such a great time there. You can also find me on my Instagram, which I will leave here as well as in the description box. There's only one of me. There's a lot of dupe accounts out there, but there is one true Instagram account, and it's the one below. You can also find me on my website, so I'll leave all the places you can find me in the description box. I'd love to see you in any of them, as well as right here. So like, subscribe, let me know how your Scorpio season is going. I'm sending you so much love. Have a beautiful November, my friends.